This is Duke University.
Art Vision in the Brain is basically a team that focuses on the premise that art and neuroscience and sciences and the humanities in general are really working together to answering similar questions. So one thing that we monopolized on the fact this year was with regards to face perception. So we realized, of course, that for humans, faces are very, very important things, right? They reveal emotion. You can tell by a person's race, gender, and just general personality to a certain extent with regards to their emotions by looking at a person. And we also realized that, of course, with that, art oftentimes focuses on this as well. Usually faces are somehow manipulated or just simply portrayed in artworks. So then that's the question, well, why is that the case? So our team really worked on grappling, understanding face perception through art and using it as a means to further understand the neuroscience as well.
So my name is Gabriela Ocampo, and I am part of the Look Before You Leap Fast Connections program. We've been working with the Duke Lemur Center with 2 species of lemurs to see if we can quantify their branch preferences. And then once we kind of have this baseline data of whether they prefer thin or thick branches and angled versus horizontal branches, then we can move on to the especially cool part, which is visual gaze tracking. So once we know which branches they want to look at, we can see whether or not they're planning out movements and planning out paths in order to get to the reward, which is fruit. So if they are planning out their movements, this would kind of corroborate the theories that as primates moved into the trees, they had to kind of adjust to a more complex environment because now instead of just being hunted on the ground, if they fall from the trees, then that could be another way that evolution could kind of knock them out. So they had to adapt and learn how to select branches that could either hold their weight or also bring them closer to the food, which is in this case the reward.
I'm working on the brain immune team. It's one of the Fast Connections team, and the work I'm doing is focusing more on mitochondrial dysfunction. So classically, one of the ways that Alzheimer's has been diagnosed is through what's called amyloid plaque, and this was done post-mortemly, and they kind of been thought to be kind of maybe one of the causal problems of Alzheimer's that leads to neuronal death. And so more recent research has shown that most likely this isn't true and it's more of a symptom. And so what I'm looking at is kind of the precursor to this plaque and looking how it's getting clogged in the mitochondria. I feel like I've probably learned more biochemistry through 2 or 3 semesters of biochemistry just working in this lab, versus taking a class.
We recruit people with dementia who are living in the Durham community. And so we'll go out and meet with them for the first time and do some baseline measurements that assess their cognition and their neuropsychiatric behaviors associated with dementia, and then also talk with their caregiver. And so then we ask them what kind of music they like, and then we go back out again with their favorite music personalized on an iPod. And so we give it to them, and then at that point we ask that they listen to the personalized music every day and just try to see if there were any changes with their neuropsychiatric symptoms and then also the caregiver burden associated with caring for dementia.
Our project is focused on using eye tracking tests as an objective assessment for mild traumatic brain injury, also known as concussions. We're using this specifically in the pediatric population, and we're hoping that these eye tracking tests will provide us with more information about these concussive events that may occur during any sort of contact sport, such as football. Even with repetitive hits that may not lead to concussions, we might see differences in performance following the concussive event as compared to their baseline results. So we're really interested to see those differences and hopefully use this oculomotor response as a more objective assessment for something that is very traditionally difficult to assess for.
So the Neuroplicity team is a Fast Connections Brain and Society team that's working to better communicate neuroscience through new media. And what that means to us is through videos and a website and through interviews with neuroscientists that we, as the Neuroplicity team, translate into videos that the general public would be able to understand and enjoy and be able to learn from. So I started out as a neuroscience major in undergrad, actually, and I thought I wanted to do research. I was really excited about it, and I worked in a lab actually since my sophomore year. And through working in the lab, you really get to see what it's like to be a researcher and what your life would be like. Realized that wasn't really what I wanted, and then I found Neuroplicity as a team and fell in love with making videos and trying to better communicate science.